Can you say hi? Hi. So you guys may not remember, but when Elle was born, we did the specialized testing to see if she had any mutations at MTHFR, because I have 2 mutations and I know how super important it is to make sure that you're methylating correctly. And if you don't know what that is, I'll tell you all about it in just a second. I think somebody wants to get down now. You ready to go? You gonna get down? You wanna sit here? You wanna hold this bottle? Look, don't mess with don't mess with that. Hold on. So today, I want to talk to you about one of my favorite supplements. It's called Methylation Support. I would like to tell you all about MTHFR and Methylation Support and why I absolutely love it. So, hey, you showing it to everybody? Okay, we'll come over here and you can show it to everybody this way. Whoa! Everybody's going to see our messy kitchen. You say, hi. Hi, let's do this. Look, now you can see yourself. Let me do it where you can see yourself. Okay, hang on. Somebody really wanted to be on and I'm running around the house sweating. So there you go, there you can see you. Hey, there you can see you. And mommy can see over here where everybody else is. Let's see who's there.
Hey.
Hi, hey. So anyway, I myself have 2 mutations at MTHFR, which means that I don't detoxify very well. And you know, after seeing thousands of patients in my clinic, I literally have a list of less than 10 people who have no mutations at MTHFR. So virtually everybody in my clinic had at least 1, if not 2 mutations at MTHFR. If you don't know what MTHFR is, it's an enzyme that virtually helps almost every single biochemical reaction in the body. So it really converts B9 or folate into methylfolate. So it helps convert folate into methylfolate. And methylfolate is really what you need in order to do a process called methylation. Yeah, Nana's outside. So it helps us do a process called methylation. And if you can't methylate, you got some problems. Okay, so it helps us in processing our toxins, hormones, of course, metabolizing other B vitamins, and even regulating our neurotransmitters. So it helps with mood and sleep. In fact, a lot of people with things like anxiety, depression, even bipolar have SNPs at MTHFR. So it's one of the things when I see people coming in with anxiety, depression, even bipolar, I assume that there are likely some methylation issues. So it also helps us convert homocysteine into methionine. And methionine really helps us to build proteins and muscles and helps detoxification and helps to control inflammation. So in fact, homocysteine, when it rises in the body, it can be what I call the poor man's guide to someone's methylation status. So in my clinic, before we were able to do MTHFR testing, I would test everybody's homocysteine. And I still do test people's homocysteine because it also helps me know, if the supplements that they're taking and the diet that they're eating is helping them to methylate or not. So your homocysteine is something you don't want too high and you don't want it too low. You want it just right, kind of like Goldilocks and the porridge. So, but most importantly, methionine helps to produce glutathione. So again, it's one of the reasons why, if you're not methylating, that people end up having detox issues, and why when I just on an everyday level, but certainly when I'm around mold, I take my triad with me when I travel absolutely everywhere. So I take a million supplements. In fact, you can't see them all on the shelf back there, but I have, a thing this wide of supplements that I take every day. And I, like all of you all, get tired of swallowing pills, and some days are better than others in terms of my compliance on taking supplements. But there are 3 that I absolutely always take, or 2, I should say, that I absolutely always take. And one, of course, is Methylation Support, because I have 2 mutations. It means that if I were to just try to eat a healthy diet, which I do, I can only get 1/10 of any amount of B vitamins that I'm bringing into my body. So, and if I were to take something that just had folate or folic acid in it, which is synthetic, I can only convert 1/10 of it into methionine. So I need a whole lot of B vitamins and a whole lot of methylated B vitamins. And that's what Methylation Support is. It's 5-tetrahydrofolate, which is an active form of folate. So there's some studies out there showing actually high dosages up to 800 micrograms, which is what's in most prenatals of folic acid, which is synthetic, have been shown to potentially cause some cancers, or at least enhance some cancers like colon cancer. However, the natural folates found in methylation support are not found at a high dose to increase any risk of cancer. So you really want to make sure that if you are, I mean, even if you're the average person and don't have any mutations at MTHFR, that you are in fact taking a methylfolate and a premethylated B6, B12, and of course folinic acid. You don't want to get synthetic. A lot of people cannot convert the inactive forms into the active forms, so it's better to just get the active forms. So the MTHFR gene is, one of 20,000 genes in the body, and there is a genetic mutation in their SNPs. And many of you have probably heard of something called 23andMe, which is a genetic test you can do to check your SNPs. I also wrote an article about a test that I did for Elle that does not require a lot of saliva. So 23andMe requires a lot of saliva. So if you have a young child out there and you're concerned about, their methylation status, then you might want to do this other test. And I have an article, my team can link to it below, where I did a test for Elle that was just a cheek swab. So it didn't require any blood sticks or blood draws or saliva. And then of course 23andMe, if you are somebody who is, can produce saliva, then you can go ahead and do that. So 50% of the population, so that's, half of you out there, has at least one SNP. Now, if you're listening to me, you probably have some sort of health issue, or you have somebody in your family has one, or you're concerned about one. And like I've already said, in my clinic, after seeing literally thousands of patients and testing MTHFR on all of them, I literally think I had 10 people out of 10, a decade of working with patients and seeing thousands of patients that had no mutations at MTHFR. I always see at least one, and then of course a lot of people in my clinic would have two. So it's really important to to check your status to know, are you somebody who can convert these B vitamins or not? So as I mentioned before, if I don't take methylation support literally on a daily basis, then I'm not able to detox well. I might have mood issues. I might have fatigue. So these are signs and symptoms that you can look at for yourself. If you've already, you've been taking supplements, you've been following the diet, do you have mood issues? Do you have fatigue? Are you still having detox issues? So when I was just saying that I got hit with mold again, my 3 supplements that I always take are, of course, methylation support, my glutathione. I don't know if you can see that very well. There's kind of a glare. Glutathione. And then, of course, when I'm in a moldy environment, I use coconut charcoal. Now, I take the B vitamins away from the charcoal and the glutathione. I typically take those 2 together because this helps with detox, and then that binds it and pulls it out. And this helps the whole system to keep running. So that's what I'm using on a daily basis to just kind of keep me above water from mold and to keep me alive and healthy. And then of course I take extra when I'm in a situation that requires it, like I recently was in one. They say, okay, so this is how I will phrase this for you guys to understand it. And again, this is my very simplistic analogy. So this is not, this is sort of theoretical just for you guys to understand it. If you have no mutations at MTHFR and you eat a can of tuna fish and it has 10 parts of mercury in it, you eat 10 parts of mercury and you theoretically can get rid of 10 parts of mercury. If you have 1 mutation at MTHFR, again, a little bit depending on where you have the 1 mutation, if it's at the, we'll just call it A versus the C, if it's at the A, you can get rid of about 75% of the mercury and you keep about 25% of the mercury. If it's at C, it's something like maybe you get rid of 65% of the mercury and you keep, 33%, or, get rid of 66%, you keep 33%. If you are me and you have a mutation, 2 mutations at the C, you keep 9 parts and you get rid of 1 part. So you can see that if you're dealing with 2 mutations at the C, it's not to scare people, but it's the less of ideal of them all. So if you eat 10 parts, you keep 9, you get rid of 1. So you can imagine mercury and other heavy metals are building up in you much more quickly. Now, if you have one mutation at C and one at A, which is also considered homozygous, the thought is that you keep you keep 7 and you get rid of 3. So it's a little better than having them both at the C. Not quite as ideal. If you have one at either place, you're keeping at least, 5 and you're getting rid of 5. So no mutations. Let me just go over that again because I think I got ahead of myself. No mutations. You eat 10 parts of mercury, you get rid of 10 parts of mercury, in theory. You got one mutation, you keep 5, you get rid of 5. You got 2 mutations. If it's one at the C and one at the A, you keep 3, you keep 7, you get rid of 3. You got my genetics where you have 2 at the C, you keep 9, you get rid of 1. So you can see depending on where your mutations are, and we have a nice graphic about this in the article. So, okay, let's see. So methylation support is available, and again, all of our supplements are GMP certified. They're third-party tested. They don't contain any of the inflammatory ingredients that you guys are asking about, which is gluten, soy, corn, and we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. All right, everybody, have a great day. If you just joined us, go back and listen from the beginning about MTHFR. It was a little spotty there. I thought she enjoys being here when we do smoothies and stuff, but I think it was a little too much for her. So you can fast forward through that and get to the meat of things. And my team will post that article soon, and you can see the graphic just about what type of mutation you have, and you can see what type of mutation you have and how that affects your ability to detox. All right, everybody, have a great day. Bye.